Before the dawn of time, a truth lay hidden in plain sight, shrouded by the very pages of the Bible. Could it be that everything we thought we knew about Adam, the first man, has been twisted, distorted, and buried under layers of history? What if there were beings that walked this earth before Adam, creatures whose existence challenges the very foundation of our faith, our creation story, and our understanding of the divine? The secrets embedded in Genesis, those cryptic words about the creation of humanity, have remained veiled for centuries. But today we will uncover them. The shocking truth, one that has the power to shake the very core of our beliefs, is about to be revealed. Imagine this, a world where the first humans were not Adam and Eve, but a mysterious race, pre-Adamite beings, existing long before the Garden of Eden. What was their purpose? What did they know that we still don't? Why has this truth been silenced for so long? As we journey through the ancient texts of Genesis, the Book of Jubilees, and hidden Jewish traditions, we will expose the truth buried beneath the sacred words. In this video, we will explore the possibility that Adam was not the first man in the strictest sense, but the first of a divine lineage, chosen for a unique purpose by God Himself. You will see how the pre-Adamite theory aligns with the Bible's mysterious contradictions. You will understand why Cain was terrified of being killed by others after leaving Eden. And you will finally grasp the profound spiritual role of Adam, one that transcends his biological existence and touches the divine plan. Prepare to have your understanding of human origins reshaped. Today, we unravel a mystery that's been hidden for millennia. The truth about Adam, the truth about humanity's beginnings, and the divine purpose behind it all. It's all here, waiting for you to discover. Stay tuned, because once you see what's hidden in the pages of Genesis, you will never look at the Bible the same way again. Two creation stories, the hidden truth. In Genesis begins with a mystery that has puzzled believers for centuries. Two creation accounts. Both tell us about the origins of humanity, but they differ in startling ways. The first account in Genesis 1 portrays the creation of man as a collective event. "Let us make man in our image," says God, as though humanity was formed together, male and female, as a unified group, rather than individual beings. There is no mention of a garden, no specific location, just a divine command to multiply and fill the earth. Humanity is given dominion over the whole planet. Can you feel the weight of this divine commission, the vastness of the earth with all its beauty and potential granted to humanity? It suggests something extraordinary, a collective purpose shared by many, not just two individuals. But then comes the second creation story, where everything changes. Genesis 2 introduces us to a very different image of creation. One man, formed from the dust of the ground, placed in the Garden of Eden, a paradise meant just for him. God gives Adam a task to care for the garden and all its creatures. It's a story of intimacy and divine interaction. Adam is the first human, and he alone receives the breath of life directly from God. This breath, this divine spark, separates Adam from all other living creatures. It signifies something deeper, more spiritual than just physical creation. It marks the beginning of a special relationship between man and the Creator, one that transcends the physical world and reaches into the realm of the divine. Now, take a moment to reflect on the contrast between these two accounts. One paints a picture of a collective humanity thriving across the earth, and the other speaks of one man, uniquely formed, breathing life into the soil of Eden. Why are there two creation stories, seemingly in conflict with one another? Could they both be telling the truth in different ways? Could the first story be describing the creation of humanity as a whole, while the second story focuses on one specific man, Adam, chosen for a higher, spiritual purpose? This question lies at the heart of the mystery that unfolds in the following verses. The heavenly council. Who was us in Genesis 1? As we dive deeper into Genesis 1:26, we encounter a strange and mysterious word, us. Let us make man in our image, God says. The use of the plural here is startling. Who is God speaking to? Who is included in this divine council? The word us does not imply a solitary, all-powerful being creating humanity alone, but rather it hints at a divine assembly. This subtle detail shifts our perception of creation, inviting us to consider a more complex view of the universe. In ancient Hebrew, the word Elohim is used here for God. It is a plural noun, and although it can refer to God alone, it's a word that invites us to imagine the presence of other divine beings, a heavenly council, participating in the work of creation. This concept is not just isolated to Genesis. In other ancient texts, we find the idea of a divine assembly, where gods or heavenly beings work together in harmony to shape the world. It's a beautiful thought that God, in his infinite wisdom, does not operate in isolation. Instead, the creation of humanity involves a collective action, perhaps from angels or other divine beings whose presence is woven into the fabric of our origins. Consider the implications of this for your own spiritual journey. If God's work of creation was done in collaboration with other divine beings, it suggests that humanity's story is part of a larger, cosmic narrative, one that extends beyond our individual lives, stretching into the realm of eternity. Just as the divine beings shared in the creation of humanity, so too are we invited to share in the divine purpose. Each of us, created in the image of God, has a role to play in the greater story, a part to fulfill in the divine design. It's not just about being created, but about being chosen, to exist, to love, to create, to share in this divine narrative. If Adam was chosen to carry out a specific purpose, perhaps we too have a calling that echoes through the ages, a purpose beyond our understanding, waiting to be revealed. Adam, the first of a divine lineage. The name Adam itself holds profound significance. In Hebrew, Adam comes from the root word Adama, meaning earth or red earth. Adam was formed from the dust of the ground, his body shaped from the very earth he was called to care for. But there's more to Adam than just his connection to the earth. In Genesis 2:7, God breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and he became a living soul. This divine breath is what distinguishes Adam from all other creatures. While the animals and plants were formed from the earth, only Adam received this sacred breath directly from God. This breath was not just life, it was a divine spark, an element of the divine spirit that set Adam apart. It suggests that Adam was more than just the first human. He was the first of a divine lineage, chosen by God for a special purpose. This purpose wasn't just to till the garden or name the animals. Adam was to be the bridge between the divine and the earthly, the link between God and creation. Through Adam, humanity would come to understand its place in the divine plan. The idea of Adam as a chosen being is echoed throughout Scripture. In 1 Corinthians 15:45, Paul refers to Adam as the first man, but also as a living being. He is not just the first of his kind, he is the first to carry the divine breath, the first to be made in the image of God. This idea of Adam as a spiritual being created for a higher purpose invites us to consider our own spiritual journey. Like Adam, we are not merely biological creatures. We are spiritual beings, created in the image of God, with a divine purpose that transcends the physical world. In understanding Adam's role, we also gain insight into our own. Just as Adam was placed in the garden to tend and care for it, so too are we placed on this earth with a divine purpose, to care for creation, to love one another, and to fulfill the higher calling that God has placed upon our lives. Adam's story is not just about the past. It is a blueprint for our own lives, a reminder that we too are part of a larger divine narrative. As we continue this journey of discovery, we realize that the story of Adam and the origins of humanity are not just about our beginnings, they are about our purpose. Just as Adam was the first of a divine lineage, we too are called to carry forward this legacy, to walk in the footsteps of the first man, and to fulfill the purpose God has set before us. This exploration of Genesis has shown us that the truth about Adam and our origins is far deeper than we ever imagined. It invites us to look beyond the surface and see the divine plan unfolding before our eyes. We are not mere accidents of evolution, but purposeful creations of a loving and divine Creator. And just as Adam's story connects us to the earth and to God, so too does our story connect us to a higher calling, one that transcends time and space. Cain and his encounter with a hidden world. In the quiet aftermath of Cain's sin, the murder of his brother Abel, the Bible unveils a staggering truth. Cain feared for his life. "Whoever finds me will kill me," he cries, standing in a world where only Adam, Eve, and his own family are thought to exist. But how could this be? If only Adam and Eve were on earth, who were the others Cain feared? The very question casts a shadow over the Genesis narrative, forcing us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about the first family and the beginning of human civilization. Cain's journey into the land of Nod, east of Eden, marks a turning point, not just in the story of humanity, but in our understanding of the world's origins. For Cain builds a city, and as any city builder knows, it requires more than just one family. It demands a society. Who were these people Cain feared, and who lived in the cities before Adam and Eve's descendants could populate the earth? This moment shakes our assumptions, demanding we ask, could humanity, or at least certain forms of it, have existed before Adam? As we explore the implications of Cain's story, we begin to uncover a tantalizing truth. The world outside Eden, far from being barren, was rich with life. The land of Nod was not an empty, desolate place, but one teeming with mystery. The city Cain built could not have been erected by a single family. It speaks to an established, sophisticated society, already thriving long before the Garden of Eden was even closed off to humanity. How could this be possible, unless humans, perhaps not of Adam's direct line, had been living for generations before the first garden was planted? This revelation forces us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that the story of Genesis is not a simple narrative of humanity's creation, but a story layered with complexities. If Cain, one of the first sons of Adam, encountered people before Adam's line ever spread, what does this say about the first humans mentioned in the Bible? Were they the only ones created by God, or is there a hidden lineage, a pre-Adamic world that humanity has forgotten? The pre-Adamite theory, revealing the shadows of humanity's past. The mystery deepens when we delve into ancient Jewish texts like the Book of Jubilees and the Midrash, which offer us glimpses into a world that was far more complex than the biblical account of Adam and Eve alone. These texts speak of beings created before Adam, whose existence has been largely erased from history. These beings, known as the pre-Adamites, were said to have had human-like forms, but lacked the divine breath of life given to Adam. They existed as shadows or images, much like the prototypes of humanity, but without the spiritual essence that made Adam distinct. Consider the weight of this idea. Before Adam was created in God's image and breathed life into, there were others, beings who were of the earth, but not of the divine breath. These pre-Adamites lived in communities, communicated, and even developed early forms of culture. Could it be that Cain, when banished from Eden, encountered these beings? Could they have been the very people who built the cities that Cain found upon his exile? The Book of Jubilees describes these pre-Adamite beings not as just lifeless figures, but as a primitive civilization, functioning with skills and traditions that were passed down for generations. This opens the door to a fascinating realization. Humanity's origins may not be as simple as a single man and woman placed in a garden. Perhaps God, in his infinite wisdom, created various forms of humanity, each with a different purpose and role in the divine plan. And when Adam came, he wasn't just the first man in a biological sense, but the first to receive the divine breath, a being set apart for a greater calling, chosen by God to carry out his purposes on earth. These ancient texts challenge us to think beyond the traditional narrative. What if the first humans were not all created equal, but instead God chose Adam for a unique purpose, to be the first to bear his image, to carry his divine breath, and to fulfill a role that no other being could accomplish? Could this explain why Genesis describes Adam in such intimate terms, giving him dominion over the earth and placing him in the garden to work it and take care of it? As we uncover the existence of these pre-Adamite beings, we are faced with a powerful spiritual lesson. It teaches us that humanity's divine purpose is not simply about being created, it's about being chosen for a higher calling. And in understanding Adam's unique role, we begin to see our own place in God's grand design, a design that is far more intricate, far more mysterious than we ever imagined. As we journey through these ancient texts and explore the possibility of a pre-Adamic world, we must ask ourselves, if we are part of this divine narrative chosen for a special purpose, what is our role in today's world? What calling has God placed upon each of us? Just as Adam was chosen to be the first in a divine lineage, we too are called to step into the story of creation, to fulfill our purpose and to carry the divine breath into the world around us. In the end, this exploration reveals a profound truth. The story of humanity is not just about our origins, it is about our purpose. And understanding the truth about Adam and the pre-Adamites helps us see that purpose more clearly. Just as Adam was the bridge between the divine and the earthly, so too are we invited to bridge the gap between the sacred and the everyday, fulfilling the calling that God has set before us. The connection between ancient civilizations and the hidden truth about humanity. As we step away from the familiar pages of the Bible and into the ancient corridors of lost civilizations, we uncover a shocking and profound connection. The creation of humanity, the first man, and the divine design is not a story confined to the pages of Genesis alone. In fact, the story of Adam, the first man, is reflected across various ancient cultures, each telling a tale remarkably similar to the one in the Bible. Could it be that humanity's origins were shared across time in ways we've failed to understand? Could these ancient civilizations hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of Genesis? In the heart of Sumer, one of the world's oldest civilizations, the Enuma Elish, tells a story of gods creating various types of humans before the final, perfected creation. These humans were not just physical beings, they were designed for a purpose. This parallel is uncanny. In the Genesis account, Adam is chosen by God, not as a random act of creation, but with a specific divine plan. He is made in God's image, imbued with the divine breath, and set apart for a higher calling. Sumer's gods did the same, creating humans not just for survival, but for the fulfillment of a greater purpose, shaping them with intention. This theme appears in Egyptian mythology as well. In the ancient pyramid texts, a similar pattern emerges. The gods create multiple versions of humanity, each one closer to the final, perfected form that would walk the earth. The Egyptians believed that humanity was crafted with divine wisdom and purpose, and just as in Genesis, they too understood the importance of the breath of life, bestowed only upon those chosen to be the link between the divine and the earthly. The startling connections continue in Hindu culture, with its concept of manvantaras, the idea of cycles of humanity, where each cycle begins with a new first man chosen by divine will. The Puranas tell of these first beings, divinely ordained to lead the earth's inhabitants. And here again, we see a striking resemblance to the story of Adam, the first human created not for mere existence, but as the first in a lineage, a spiritual line that would bridge the gap between humanity and the divine. Across ancient civilizations from Babylon to the Americas, we see variations on a common theme: humanity created with intention, with a divine purpose. It is not just the how of creation that they share with the Genesis account, but the why. These cultures, like the Hebrews, understood that humanity was part of a larger, more divine plan, a plan that involved not only physical life, but a spiritual purpose. In these stories, Adam is not just a man. He is a type of all humanity, a prototype chosen to carry God's image into the world, to carry forward the divine purpose. But what does this mean for us today? Why does this ancient connection matter in our lives, in our understanding of the world? The key lies in realizing that the story of Adam and of humanity's creation is not just about one man in a garden thousands of years ago. It is about us, today. It is about understanding that our existence is not random, not accidental. Like Adam, we are part of a divine narrative. We have a calling, a purpose that reaches far beyond the physical world. We are here to fulfill a higher purpose, one that connects us to the divine plan, to the legacy of those who came before us. These ancient civilizations didn't just record the story of humanity's creation. They embedded it in the fabric of their societies, their beliefs, their rituals. They understood that creation was not just an event that happened in the past, but an ongoing process that involves us all. Just as Adam was chosen to serve a divine purpose, we too are chosen. Our lives have meaning, not just in the here and now, but as part of a greater cosmic plan that stretches across time. The truth about Adam, about the pre-Adamite beings, and about the divine design for humanity is a story that transcends ancient history. It is a story that continues to unfold in our lives today. It is a call to recognize our divine origins, to embrace our purpose, and to step into the higher calling that God has set before us. Just as Adam was given dominion over the earth, so too are we called to care for this world, to fulfill the divine mandate to create, to love, and to serve. In understanding these ancient truths, we are invited to live not as mere bystanders in the world, but as active participants in God's grand design, a design that spans across time and space, from the first breath of Adam to the final redemption of all humanity. We are not just part of a physical creation, but of a divine legacy that stretches back to the very beginning of time. And as we understand this, we are called to fulfill our divine purpose, to live in alignment with the spiritual lineage that began with Adam and continues with us today. This understanding transforms our view of ourselves and our place in the world. We are not alone in this journey. We are part of a vast and interconnected story, a story that connects us to the divine, to those who came before, and to those who will come after. As we embrace this truth, we step into our calling as children of God, destined to fulfill the purpose for which we were created. And so, as we look back at the story of Adam and at the story of humanity's creation, we are reminded of the divine breath that has been passed down through the generations. It is a breath that carries with it purpose, meaning, and connection to the Creator. It is a breath that we are invited to carry forward into the world, into our lives, and into the future. The story of Adam is not just his story, it is our story. And it is a story that continues to unfold, with each of us playing a part in the divine narrative of humanity's purpose on earth. In the quiet corners of the world, in the spaces where the soul seeks answers, the story of Adam, the first man, still echoes. It's more than just a tale from Genesis. It's a call to every person alive today, reminding us that we are part of a larger, divine narrative. This story, ancient and profound, holds the key to understanding not only who we are, but also the deeper purpose that stirs within us all. What if I told you that the truth about Adam and humanity's creation is not just something written long ago, but something still unfolding, still relevant in your life right now? You see, we are not just the sum of our parts, not just the biological result of an ancient lineage. No, we are so much more. We are the bearers of a divine legacy, the spiritual descendants of Adam, called to fulfill the higher purpose that began when God breathed his life into that first man. Can you feel the weight of this truth? That the story of Adam, as much as it speaks of creation, speaks of divine intention, of a calling that echoes through the ages, now reaching us. The same divine breath that filled Adam with life is present in you, in me, in all of us. We are not isolated beings, but part of a grand cosmic design, chosen for a purpose beyond our understanding. This realization is both humbling and empowering. It speaks of an eternal connection that binds us to the Creator, a connection that spans from the very beginning of time to this very moment. As we reflect on the mysteries uncovered in the ancient texts, the hidden messages in Genesis, and the rich traditions of countless civilizations, we see that humanity's origin story is not just about the past. It is about our present and our future. It is about recognizing that the divine breath of life is within us all, calling us to a higher purpose, guiding us through the challenges of our existence. The purpose of Adam was not just to walk the earth, but to fulfill a divine plan, to be the bridge between heaven and earth. And we too are called to carry that same mantle. We are not meant to live in isolation, wandering through life aimlessly. No, we are created with intention, placed here for a reason, to fulfill the divine purpose set before us. Just as Adam was chosen to be the first of a divine lineage, so are we chosen to fulfill the greater story of creation. Our lives are not just about surviving. They are about thriving in the light of God's purpose, about stepping into the legacy that has been passed down to us. As you hear these words, I invite you to pause and reflect on your own purpose. Do you feel the divine calling in your life? Do you sense that you are here for something greater than just the mundane tasks of daily existence? You are a part of a divine narrative, a living story that is still being written. Every step you take, every decision you make, is part of that larger plan. The legacy of Adam is not just a story from long ago. It is a story that continues in you. If this video has touched your heart, if it has opened your eyes to the deeper truths of who you are and why you are here, I invite you to share this journey with me. Your support, your encouragement, even the smallest act of kindness, makes all the difference in continuing to spread these messages of hope and divine purpose. If you've found value in this, if it has sparked something in your soul, I ask that you consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this message with others. Every small action is a powerful ripple in the grand design. Your support allows me to continue bringing these truths to light, to share more about the divine purpose that shapes us all. Together, we can create a community that uplifts and inspires, a community that seeks the divine truth in all things. So, if this video has resonated with you, if it has given you a glimpse of the divine calling in your own life, I humbly ask that you continue walking with me on this journey. You are not alone in this. We are all part of something far greater, far more beautiful than we ever realized. And together, we can step into the purpose for which we were created. Thank you, from the depths of my heart, for your presence on this journey. Your support is not just appreciated, it is invaluable. Let's continue to seek the light, to discover the truth, and to live out the divine purpose that flows through each of us. God's plan for you, for me, for all of us, is unfolding with every step we take. And together, we will walk this path, guided by the same divine breath that filled Adam so long ago.